computer. So this is our first official board meeting this year. And we have agreed that we are going to be having board meetings on the second Friday of every month. And the meetings will be starting at 7 p.m. Nairobi local time and ending at 9 p.m. Nairobi local time. And any member of the board or any director is allowed to reschedule the meeting and send the Zoom invite. I did send the Zoom invite this time, and I want it to be rotational. So in March, Mr. Levi Bushuru, the director in charge of technical training, will coordinate the meeting, and he will send the Zoom invite 1 week in advance and remind the members 1 day before, and also mobilize them a few minutes to the beginning of the meeting to come and attend the meeting. We also remind them 30 minutes before the meeting starts. So the next meeting will be coordinated by Mr. Levi Bushuru. So we are going to have, it will be rotation now. Then in April, Mr. Chemite will do the coordination. And when you are doing the coordination, you also chair the meeting. And when we come to the meeting, you ask members to propose the agenda. And during the meeting, we adopt the agenda. So in April, it will be Mr. Chemite. In May, it will be Mr. Odalo. In June, it will be Mr. Komala. In July, it will be Mr. Pius. In August, it will be Mr. Levi. In September, it will be Mr. Chemite. In October, it will be Mr. Odalo. In November, it will be Mr. Komala. And in December, it will be Mr. Pius. And December, we will have our first general annual meeting. So if you're able to conduct any business by that time, make money and make some profit, then the meeting in December, that is when we will announce our dividends and our directors will share that dividends. If we make losses, we'll announce our first loss and our directors will share those losses. I'm aware that Mr. Komala is not yet co-opted legally, but you're going to be a member of this team, and we will work something towards the same. We'll see what can work for us. Now, is there any question? Anybody with a question or a point to be clarified on what I've just announced? How meetings are going to be conducted, how long they're going to last, who's going to conduct them, the responsibility of the people who are going to conduct them, and when we are going to have our annual general meeting. So if there's no question.
I have
yes.
a point for clarification.
Yes.
The first general meeting.
Yes.
You said it will be in, is it December or December?
In December, and I'll be the one coordinating. And that's where we'll share our first losses, first loss or our first dividend. So in December, and it will be the second Friday in December. Okay, thank you very much. I want to share my screen so that we again we are able to see the agenda. So we are on agenda number 1, and opening of bank accounts. And Mr. Odalo was to give a report on the follow-up with the expert I hired to help him. Mr. Odalo, can you hear me? Mr. Odalo, are you there? Mr. Odalo is not there. So we'll skip that agenda. Please take note of it. We'll come back to it when we are done with the other agenda. So number 2, I've stopped free classes effective April 15th, 2023. We need to agree on how to move forward to prevent potential abuse. So the reason why I stopped the classes, when Mr. Chimte was bereaved, and I was asking our students whom we are giving free services to chip in by giving whatever small they have, so that we can ease the burden for Mr. Chimte, and everybody turned their back. I don't know how much is the contribution. Mr. Levi, you have been following on the welfare. How much has been contributed? How many? Oh, Mr. Lalo, you are there. Are you still traveling? Mr. Lalo, are you still traveling?
I'm still traveling.
Okay, please mute. We'll give you a chance when you have arrived. Mute. But we have seen your message. And here it goes. You just type on the chat. We are required to respond. At the moment, please mute so that we continue the meeting. Mr. Dalokan, yeah. So when we want you to respond, type on the chat. Please mute yourself. Yeah, good. So please mute yourself. So on agenda number 1, Mr. Dala said that he called the expert, but he did not pick up his call. So he will follow up the issue on opening of the account and update us via WhatsApp chats. So that's the report on agenda number 1. So on agenda number 2, I was explaining the reason why I've stopped free classes. When Mr. Chimte was briefed, today is Mr. Chimte, tomorrow it will be me, the other day, the following day will be somebody else. And we wanted our students, we are giving them free services, and these services are very expensive. And we just wanted them to chip in by supporting Mr. Chimte, and I did not like the response. So that made me to abolish all free classes. It's no longer going to be free from 15th of April. They have to pay something. The only thing that is holding us back is that we don't have a bank account. So maybe by 15th of April, we shall have opened a bank account. Then I made a declaration. I made it as an executive order as the Director General and the brainchild behind the whole idea, that everybody that is going to take our classes from April 15th, whether he's an old member or not, they will have to pay 2,000 registration fee. If you don't pay 2,000 registration fee, I'm not going to allow you to attend the class. That 2,000, if you pay 2,000, it's like you attending the class free. That will only be registration. And that amount of money will go to our welfare kitty, so that when a member of our volunteers get bereaved or are in trouble, we have somewhere we can go and get some little money, as little as 20,000 or as little as 10,000, and then send to the member. So we are no longer going to offer free classes as per se, as it has been before. Because when you work, you have to be paid. When you are a volunteer from where I live, at the time of sorrow or at the time of difficulty, we need the people we are volunteering to show some love, to show some support. So if you're giving you courses that are costing as much as 90,000, just asking for 2,000, that's nothing. And I don't want to be a lone ranger. I need to get the views from the members. And because Mr. Chimte is the one who is the review, is briefed currently, I want him to go last. So I will start with Mr. Komala. Mr. Komala, do you think I'm fair on this, or am I being too harsh?
Oh, well, thanks for the opportunity. Comment on that, I don't think there is any unfairness or harshness. Just as you said earlier, tomorrow is today is Chemite, tomorrow it might be me, and the other day it might be another person. So I think I'll join hands with you on that.
Okay, thank you very much. And you are representing the students who are currently receiving our free services. So we'll share this video recording in the forum and we'll expect them to react. Now, Mr. Levi Bushuru, please. Do you think I'm fair on this or I'm being too harsh?
You are not fair, bearing the fact that if one of us can be bereaved, and when we share the same thing with other members, it seems they are not cooperative. And at the same time, you are giving them a very expensive service. It is them who are unfair to us. Because if you can remember the last time during Olonde's time, even I became agitated and I contacted you. How are these people conducting themselves? A person cannot manage even 200 or 300 for the purposes of the same, and we are offering free services. So what I've learned from some of our members, they are just there to get free things and they go away. Even if you are not keen, they won't add any value to this organization. Thank you.
Okay, thank you much for your contribution. Daniel, since you are here, what do you think about this? Am I fair or am I too harsh? Daniel? Daniel is not there. Mr. Geoffrey Odalo, can you please give your contribution?
Hi.
Yeah, okay. Daniel, please go ahead.
Yes, I think it is okay because this course is expensive, and I think it's only fair if we can have people to pay their dues. Thank you.
Mr. Odalo, please, can you give your contribution by typing on the charts about charging something with effect from April 15th, regardless of, although I promise that the course is going to be free up to August 31st. So that's that. Mr. Chimte, I don't want you to comment because you're brief right now. We want you to remain impartial. Now, having said that, the members who are here, when are you guys going to send in your contribution? It doesn't matter the amount, even if it is 500. It will go a long way in lessening the burden for our brother Chimte, because the contribution is still open. And we want to bring this behind us. Today is February 10th. When can we have as the last day for giving contribution?
I think the good thing, Chemite should advise us on when are they planning to have the burial so that we can try to meet our target before that day.
Okay, no, let me respond on that. Our contribution should not be pegged on the burial, or is it pegged on how we organize, we want ourselves to move forward? Because some families can have burials very quickly as within one week, and other families can have the burial prolonged as long as maybe 1 month or 2 months. We don't want to get into that. Let us just have a standard way for everybody. We don't want to be pushed or be rushed by the program, by the family. We just want to have something standard. Now, once the death has been announced and the family member allows us, Mr. Odalo says the charges are quite in order for community purposes and welfare. So Mr. Odalo also supports the welfare issue, the contribution. Let us agree on time frame, and we're going to put it on the policy document. When the death is announced, when do you think is fair to conclude the contribution? Because we want to be fair to everybody. We don't want the families that are bereaved to dictate us. By the way, in future, we'll not have this problem because we'll be having our money on the account. So we'll just be producing it and giving it. And if there's something we need to replace, then that's what we talk about. So actually moving forward, let us not discuss, make the discussion about the Chemte. Let us discuss about moving forward. Now, if somebody is bereaved and there's the money in the account, how long should Mr. Odalo take to remit the money to the family? Is it within 2 days, or within 3 days, or within 1 week? And we're assuming the money is in the account. We don't want to go by the timeline, by the family, because the money will already be in the account. We'll be contributing in advance. So Mr. Levi, what do you think?
Okay. I think if the person is bereaved and we already have the money in the account and we confirm truly this person is bereaved, it can take 3 working days.
Or 3 working days. What about the rest, Mr. Komala? Do you agree on the same?
I support.
Okay. Mr. Chebite, we wanted you to remain as neutral as possible. And you're telling me you have a word on the same.
Yes.
Let your word not influence members on when to contribute for your case. But you are allowed to have a word as a member of this team, yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I have a word on the same, which is banning.
Yeah.
And it will inform policy, because I know some of these issues will be coming up from time to time.
Yes.
From the experience that I had last week, what happens is, let me take an example of my department, which is where I work. The department is applied science, and they usually have a policy on contributions for welfare. And I would say that in our previous meetings, they said, yes, we have those issues coming up, but we need to have a boundary. They say that unless that person is an immediate member of the family, and when we talk about the immediate member of the family, is parents, like for example, my parents and my children or my spouse. That is the definition of how close. It could be, I'm sorry to say this, people did not respond well, because probably they may be having the same policy, in the organization and so forth. So I have a different opinion. I know hopefully it may not influence this meeting, but I'll say that in my differing opinion, I would say fine. Maybe there was no response vis-a-vis some of these policies because they exist. You know, I didn't have any complaint on this other end because member said, when your father died, we contributed. This is your sister, and she's my sister, the last born. So I would say fine. She's my sister. In fact, I educated her, but you see, the law does not know that. So concerning the issue of contributions, I would make a different suggestion, a slight suggestion. But again, there is question mark on how the students who are getting the free service, are responding. So it could be where they come from. This policy maybe could be existing. I don't know. So I would simply say advise that whereas it is a pointer that we are not relating well, but we give them some we give them some benefit of doubt in this manner. Maybe they could be having their reasons, and that particular policy could be one of the reasons. I don't know, but I suspect that would be the case, because the moment you talk about my sister, then the question that comes up very fast is, what is the current situation of that particular sister that we are talking about? Because
okay, Mr. Chemtevi, I've got your point. I need to
yes.
respond to some of your concerns.
Yes.
When we have a policy, it has to be enforced. And the person who's going to enforce the policy is Mr. Odalo here. And for your case, because it happened, we didn't have a policy. I will ask this team to allow the contribution to continue up to 1st of March. So that we don't block anybody out. Because we are going back to the same students. We're going to share this video recording. We can ask Ruto to edit for this as a video free of charge, so that we post it there for them to watch and ask them to react towards it. So let me respond, and I'm going to respond with what I already drafted. And I wanted you people to maybe to approve, or we have some modifications on it. So I hope everybody can see my screen. If you can see my screen, please, can you type yes on the charts? If you can see my screen, please type yes on the charts. People are not able to see my screen. I'm not seeing charts. Thank you, Kamala. Thank you, Daniel. Yeah, at least 2 people can see. Was there somebody earlier? The person earlier was who? Yeah, thank you, Chemte. Yeah, that's a confirmation that people can see my screen. So let me go back. What was on the screen? Here, so this is what on the screen, and you can see it. Let's go through it. And Mr. Levi, can you read for me what is on the screen? Read for us what is on the screen.
Okay, let me read. Yeah, Blue Nile Analytica Welfare Policy Statement. It says, Blue Nile Analytica is a startup organization comprising of a volunteer professional with the sole objective of rolling out data science classes targeting trainees from African countries. As presently constituted, all courses are being offered free of charge to qualified candidates until August 31st, 2023. In view of this, Blue Nile Analytica is coming up with a welfare policy that intends to cushion her volunteers when faced with uncertainties such as death of a spouse or close family members. A volunteer is defined as any member of a staff at BNA that does not receive any monetary compensation for services rendered. In order to qualify, a member must meet the following criteria. 1, must be an active volunteer with BNA, must be an alumni of BNA with at least one certification. The following family members are covered. 1, spouse of a member, biological children of a member, biological parents of a member, biological brothers and sisters of a member.
Can you please stop there?
Subscription.
Can you please stop there? Now, Mr. Chemte, you have
Yes.
raised who to be covered. Now, the policy we want to adopt covers this one. Do you have any question on this?
No problem, because it's organizational.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is well, beneficiary are well defined, right?
Okay. Yeah,
we
it is.
We have defined who a member is, right?
Yes.
And in the second part, we have defined who is a beneficiary. And we said a member, first we defined what a volunteer is. A volunteer is defined as any member of staff at BNA that does not receive any monetary compensation for services rendered. Why I wrote this, if we were to be paid for the services we are giving, we'll be earning a lot of money. And therefore, the issue of catering for our needs will not arise. But because we are not being paid, can these, our customers, all the people we are serving, show some love for us? Where I work and live, we give tips. You offer free services, but at the end of the training, if they like our service, they give tips. They give tips, any amount, because people are gifted differently. But that's a culture that will be very difficult to enforce, especially we coming from Kenya. So we are coming with a different version of that. So that is who a volunteer is. Now, if you cease to offer free services to us, then you cease to become a volunteer. But if you are a director or a member of the board, even if you give him some money, that money cannot pay the services you are giving us. Like now, it is at night, people are supposed to sleep. They are still here held up in a meeting. So directors of this meeting, of this organization, will automatically qualify to be a volunteer. We have now sacrificed our time for close to 1 year. We are even using our resources to set up this thing. So whether we start receiving some compensation or not, we still remain to be a volunteer, because we have volunteered for a very long time for us to start seeing some food. So I think that is very clear. All directors of this, or the board of this organization remains volunteer, whether they will be compensated in the future or not, because we anticipate to contribute a lot to the establishment of this particular organization. Now, number 2, in order to qualify, a member must meet the following: must be an active volunteer with BNA, must be an alumni of BNA with at least one certification. So an active volunteer of BNA now, directors are always active volunteers. But now when somebody comes on attachment, internship, the internship has ended, and says, no, I want to continue volunteering, or during the internship, the person qualifies to be an active volunteer. Or somebody, a student comes in, and after taking the course, I say, I want to volunteer, and they already have one certification and is willing. So that qualifies. Now, the following family members are covered: spouse of a member, biological children of a member, biological parents of a member, biological brothers and sisters of a member. These are very close. These are very close family members, because they are related to the members by blood, except the spouse, who is related by law. Now, you are related to your spouse by law, and because of the spouse, you have children which are related to you by blood. Do you think it would be fair to cover the children who are related to you by blood and leave out the spouse? Mr. Chemte, can you respond to that, please?
Of course, no.
Okay. So we'll strictly follow this. And now, when a beneficiary dies, we need proof of blood relationship. Or now, or And in the proof, there are total, and proof of death, and the proof, there are the following documents. If I want to prove that somebody who has died is my mother or my father, I just get the ID of the person who has died, I get my birth certificate, and I get the letter from the mortuary to confirm death, or from the assistant chief, or the letter from the mortuary, the letter that the body is lying in a mortuary, or death certificate, or burial permit, stuff like that. Those are proof of death. So my birth certificate indicates the name of my father, and the ID of my father, and the document from the chief or whatever it is indicating proof of death has got the name of my father. So if those two names on the ID, the name on the ID and the name on the burial permit or letter from chief or the letter from the mortuary is the same name that appears on my birth certificate, then we have approved the relationship between myself, the beneficiary, and the person who has died. So we'll be looking for national ID, or letter from the mortuary, the chief, or even the letter from the assistant chief, or a burial permit. There's something happening on my screen, so I'm trying to remove it. Yeah, and that is applicable across the board. For a spouse, we will need the marriage certificate. If you are married locally, if you are not married officially, we will see a letter from the chief or assistant chief confirming that is indeed the person who has died is your wife. If we don't know your wife, if there's anybody who doesn't know your wife, and or your husband, and then but for brothers and sisters, it's just birth certificate. My birth certificate has got the name of my parents. My brother's certificates has got the name of my parents. And for us to be blood brothers, the name of my mother and the name of my father are the same as the name of my father, my brother's father, and the name of my brother's mother on the birth certificate. This policy does not recognize half brothers and does not recognize half sisters. This policy does not recognize stepfathers, stepbrothers, and does not also recognize step parents. And I think that is very clear and is well explained. Is there anybody with a question on this?
Now,
Yes.
Mr. Odhiambo,
Yes.
I forgot to say something on this issue.
Yes.
Now, I would suggest this on stopping the free classes.
Yes.
I would suggest that because I have an experience.
Yes.
I have an experience with even my people whom I have related before on academic consultation.
Yes.
Most of them want free service, unfortunately, and they want to get a lot from you, but nothing from them. So relating it to how our trainees have responded, I would suggest that we don't need to be punitive at this point in time. What we need to do is to have a strategy where moving forward, we kind of progressively remove free service. You know, you offer the service, the free service initially, but as you move forward, you tighten the program so that you are moving from free to two parts of the continuum. This is free, this is paid. So you progressively move so that we don't have a situation where there will be an exodus movement, because at the end of the day,
that's understood. You made your point. What I'm trying to
Yes,
do is like at any given time and point, whoever comes to our class must pay 2,000 because the courses we are offering are far much expensive than 2,000. That's just registration, and that registration money is what we are going to keep in the kitty to help our volunteers at time of need, especially when they are bereaved. The class is still free. Then at any given time and point, we are going to have at least one free class, but others will be paid. Like from April 15th, we'll have some classes free, but some classes will be paid. So that those who want to get free services can go to the free classes. But those who are really serious, they have known the value of what we are doing, and they really need that class, they pay for it. But any student that come to our classes has to go through the portal, and we are going to configure the portal in such a way that they pay registration fee of 2,000. Is that in line with what you are talking about?
Yeah, I think the clarity is now okay.
Okay. So again, we continue. Subscription to BNA welfare is voluntary. We are not going to force anybody. We are not going to force anybody. A member of the team, like a director, can say, no, I want to be, or I don't want to be a member of the welfare. Reason could be religious, the reason could be personal, we'll respect that. Then a student also can say, okay, although I've got a certification, I don't want to be a member of the welfare, that will be fine. But so long as he's getting our services, when he's coming in for the first time, he has to pay 2,000, which will cushion our members to the welfare. It's called registration fee, because even the Zoom we are using, we are paying it. The computers we are using, we are paying. The electricity, each one of us is paying power, we are paying for it. So these are some of the things why the organization charge some money like registration fee for registration purposes. But for BNA, I've decided to give it to the welfare so that it cushion our members against uncertainties. Now, any new trainee is required to pay non-refundable one-time fee of 2,000 per trainee toward the welfare kitty before they are admitted to BNA. This is just a one-time payment. It's just a one-time payment. It's not going to be every time. This policy will come into operation with effect from April 15, 2023. When a qualified beneficiary dies, a member will be required to provide proof of blood relationship with the BNA member and proof of death before the welfare can release at least 20,000 to the bereaved member, subject to the availability of funds. The Director, Human Resources Management, will enforce this welfare policy. He or she will manage the welfare kitty. Now, before we open the bank account, the M-Pesa account for the HR, Director HR is the one who's going to receive this money. And the Director HR will not wait for me to give an order so that the welfare a bereaved member can benefit and whatever. Me, I just need to be informed. Action need to move. And I want you to add there that this policy must be enforced within 3 days after the office has received all the documents for confirmation of death and proof of blood relationship. We talked about 3 working days because a check takes 3 days. Now, on the amount of at least 20,000, this was my thinking, but this depends on the availability of funds. Maybe we'd say 20,000, but in the account, we only have 10,000. Then whatever amount that is in the account overrules the amount stated here. If the policy say 20,000, but in the account we only have 10,000, then that member will only benefit for 10,000. Until that time, when we admit the next group of students, they pay the money, then we can top it up. So I think that is very clear. The Director HR, what do you have to say about the welfare policy? Do you think this is something you can enforce?
Thank you, Bruce. First of all, I want to apologize. I was traveling. I was attending a meeting at Kajiado, so I had to travel back. It ended very late, 6 p.m., and I had to travel back to my house.
So are you in Kajiado? Are you in Kajiado or you are in Nairobi?
I'm in Kajiado.
Yeah, can you see you are very relaxed, huh?
Yes.
You must have eaten some nyama choma. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So I'm sorry for that. So I think the issue of the welfare, we are doing well about it, except that what we have realized that there's no cooperation from the members currently, maybe because of the policy that was not there. But with the policy, I think it's something that is going to work very well, and we are able to implement it if members cooperate. So I just request members, we sell this idea to them, and then members to cooperate. It is something that can work, because even where we work, these things are there, and we implement them, and they work so well. So I don't see whether it may fail. I don't see any reason that it's going to fail in BNA. So with BNA, I believe it will still work because we have implemented it elsewhere. The initiative is so good so that at any given point, we can be able to attend to an issue when it arises. Thank you so much. I hope it will work well.
So, having said that, Ms. Odan, are you available tomorrow so that we'll give you some few minutes, maybe during break, or at the end of the during break, to talk to our new students about this welfare policy so that they understand and make sure it's voluntary, and also appeal to them that one of our directors is bereaved, is a volunteer, and it's from his volunteering hours or work, that is what has managers offer free services, and ask them to send anything they have, even if it's 500, 1,000, 2,000, just to show some love for our member who is bereaved. And you also tell them that we have put the contribution date to be 1st of March. So it will be accepting contribution up to 1st of March. But from 15th of April, it will be compulsory that anybody coming for our classes has to pay 2,000 registration fee, which will go to the welfare kitty. That will be like admission fee, whether the course is free or not. There will be an admission fee of 2,000, which will go toward the welfare of volunteers when they are bereaved. So do you have time tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow I'll be available. I'll attend in good time.
All right. So I think the welfare policy has been accepted unanimously by the member. It has been ratified, and it is going to come into effect with from April 15th. And the directors, that is how to address an emerging issue. So if you are a director here, you are a critical thinker. If there's a problem, you should sit down and come up with a policy document to present before the members. Now, if the member ratified it, it becomes a policy. So don't wait for me. If you see a problem happening in the organization, you are a stakeholder. Please just sit down, come up with a policy document, a proposal, call a meeting. We are a meeting are now defined. Ask for time, let it be made agenda. Present your proposal, and if it is ratified, it becomes a policy. If it is not ratified, the people who are against that policy will give them. We tell them, okay, you are against the policy which has been proposed by director so and so. Please, we are giving you 1 month to go and fine tune it, to go and fine tune and bring it back, so that it is acceptable, because we want all our opinions to be respected. So that is one. So we move on. Can somebody remind me of the next agenda?
Agenda number 3 was to something to do with contracts.
Something to do with the contracts. No, before we go to agenda number 3, please allow me to present this to you also. And this concerns doing away with the free classes. I'm gonna have another policy document. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Can everybody see my screen?
Yes, it can be seen.
Okay, I want to also allow me to snip this and put on the WhatsApp group so that even after the meeting, you can look at it. So this is another thing that made me to react. I drafted a policy in reaction to our members not being sensitive to the welfare and the needs of the volunteers. So not that. I think this one. Yes. So if you can see my screen now, while doing away with the free services, this is what I've decided, because from 2nd September, we can anticipate to start fee-paying students, but we have very low enrollment. How do we deal with that? Now, this is how we are going to deal with that. So I come up with a policy where each and every member of the board, including Mr. Omala, and Mr. Omala are going to put you on the schedule. And for Mr. Ruto, we'll have to agree. We'll have to agree with him first, or maybe in the next meeting. Now, a revenue sharing formula. Let's say we have only 3 students, and they're taking Python for data science. So 3 times 90,000, that's 270,000. 270,000 is not enough money to pay for our expenses if we were to hire people coming from outside to work for us. So what this document is talking about, before we consider hiring somebody from outside, we will need to look among ourselves. Do we have anybody who is qualified to handle that course? Yes. If yes, we'll approach that person and we'll ask the person, do you have time to teach this course? If the person says yes, then we move forward. Now, this is what I anticipate. Mr. Odalo or Mr. Okomala, your names are not here. I'm going to include them. Mr. Ruto, we are also going to develop a course for you which you can teach. Digital content and social media branding. That's a course that can attract very many people. And we charge very fairly, like 5,000 or even 3,000. And it can attract so many people. That's a course we're going to develop. So we're going to work ourselves, the directors, and share the revenue. So this is what I propose as the revenue sharing formula. The directors of the Blue Nile Analytica have agreed to teach data science courses themselves and share the revenue as detailed below. Now we have voted for teaching. We'll give 30% of the money collected to this voted. So let's say we have collected 300,000, 30% of 300,000 is 90,000. Because 300,000, 30,000 is like 3,000, times that, that's 90,000. So whoever is teaching that course, let's say is Mr. Bushuru. We tell Mr. Bushuru, if all our students pay all our fees, you have 90,000 as your remuneration for this course until it ends. Now, it will be upon you, Mr. Bushuru, to decide whether you need a helper to help you teach that course. Now, will you need assistant class, assistant trainer to be starting for you the Zoom meetings, stuff like that? How much do you want to pay him out of this money that's available to you? Will you need an expert to come and help you handle some topics that you are not competent handling? And when we get the expert, how much for only 2 hours or 1 hour? How much are you willing to pay this expert from that kitty? From that kitty. And I've used Mr. Bushuru. I ought to have used Mr. Chimite as the one teaching that course, because Mr. Bushuru is the director in charge of technical training. So this money will be under his docket. Chimite is teaching. He's entitled to that 90,000, but he does not have that 90,000 with himself. The 90,000 is with his immediate supervisor, who is Mr. Bushuru. And Mr. Bushuru will be getting advice from Mr. Chimite on how to move forward, on how to spend that money. By doing this, even if we attract 0 students for a class, 30% of 0 fees will be 0. So we'll not be getting money from our pocket to pay expenses. If we attract only 2 students, that is 180,000. 30% of 180,000 will be like 3%. That is 18, that's 54,000. Now, at this point, I want members to react to this voted. Do you think it is fair if we are collecting fees from the students and we allocate 30% of the fee collected to the teaching members of staff? Is it fair or it is unfair? Let me start with the director in charge of technical training. Please take it away. What's your input?
Okay. What I think,
Yes.
that is a good idea, but this 30%, you will be like the custodian. If you will be able to teach all those courses, you will be the one enjoying this 30%. But if you won't, and maybe you outsource the other person, you are the one responsible to know how this 30% is paid to these other tutors.
Right.
Therefore, this one, it will give directors to be responsible. And I think this will enable directors to feel free in discharging their duty, as it will highly discourage micromanagement. I really support it.
Okay, Mr. Chemitei, as the director in charge of consultancy services, what do you think, as one of our prospective potential teachers, what do you think about this 30% on teaching?
Yeah, I think it is quite in order. I always believe in starting somewhere and then probably trying to review from time to time. So I support, because even where I teach, we normally pay lecturers 600 per hour. And you will find that that person is going for 2 hours, so you have 1,200. If you are to do a unit of what student pays for that one particular lecture, you'll find that it will fall around that 30%. So I think yes, moving forward, we can have it at that point. Then we can review as we move forward based on some issues that may come up from time to time. I support.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Odalo, initially we had earmarked you for teaching advanced Excel functions. Right now, I've hired an expert. The classes are going on, they are free. So we expected you to be one of the students in that class so that you learn, so that in future, when you have that class, that will be your class, because advanced Excel functions is not complicated. But it is not as easy as other people thought, like Chemitei or as like Mr. Bushuru thought. It is quite involving. So, Mr. Odalo, can I have your input? Do you think this is fair enough?
Yes, thank you. With the percentage that is allocated there, it is quite in order, the 30% for the start, as Chemitei is putting it. But my question comes in, we need to agree so that it comes out very clear. At what level is the 30% going to be given to the people in charge? Because we have got some scenarios where you realize that somebody has taught, maybe a course is going for like 3 months or so, and maybe at some point, he or she may require some finance, because he's saying that the 30% was allocated, let it now be given to him. So it is quite in order that we make it very clear the level we are.
Let me respond to that. As we speak right now, we have an hired expert who is already teaching, and he had already been paid 50% of the money he was supposed to earn toward the end. Because from America here, we believe in efficiency. But the problem is, you can pay somebody money like that, then the person disappears. So, or you are the director HR, you're going to advise us. But what will happen is this. Although the amount is 30%, we are going to prorate this per hour. So you people, you'll have to advise me whether payment should be weekly, or every 2 weeks, or every 1 month. In America here, we are paid every 2 weeks. And that the policy would like to go to move forward with. But if you want weekly, that's also fine, because we'll have to collect some fees before we can start a class. Whatever we shall have we shall have collected, we'll get 30% and start paying tutors immediately. They step into class.
Before we go to that direction,
excuse me?
before we go to that direction, it is important that we know, let's say that want to start teaching a course.
Yes.
Then the student have registered. Now
Yes.
want to start. Does it mean that once you start teaching, registration stops immediately so that you just move with the ones that you have started? Or there are people who can join in the course as you progress, maybe after 2 weeks, a student
this is technical. The
Yes.
curriculum you're offering is technical. We don't expect students to join after 3 weeks. 1 week is fine. 2 weeks is fine. The last one is 3 weeks. Because our courses we are offering will be short, like 6 weeks. Like the one we are offering right now is 6 weeks, and we are supposed to charge 20,000. So after the 3rd week, we can't admit a student in class. And whatever we pay you at the end of the course, we'll do our calculations. If you have taken too much money, then what you get at the end of it will be little. If you are taking little money, then what you get at the end will be more. And this arrangement is only applicable to the directors, members of the management team. And when I'm talking about directors, I'm talking about Mr. Dalo, I'm talking about Mr. Bushuru, I'm talking about Mr. Chimte, I'm talking about myself, if we are teaching. Now, those that are not in the registry, until we revise our membership of director like Mr. Komala or Ruto, what will happen, these 30%, the directors will decide to hire them at a market rate. And when we hire them, their pay will come from this 30%. If we decide to hire somebody from outside, their pay will come from this 30%. And the person who is going to manage this kitty is Mr. Levi Bushuru, because he's the director, technical training. The money will be stored in the bank. Mr. Dala, are you there? Are you there?
I've just admitted him. It's like he was pushed out.
Yeah, he'll watch the recordings. So we are in agreement that teaching will take 30%. Now, you are a teacher and you are a director, but you are brought as customers, like Mr. Bushuru is brought Cooperative University of Kenya. Mr. Bushuru is going to bring the county government of Trans Nzoia. We need to pay you something for marketing, and allocating 10%. Every check that will come from Cooperative University of Kenya, if that client was brought by Mr. Bushuru will earn that 10% until it is done. Until the deal is done or the deal is canceled. Now, does it mean that if Cooperative University of Kenya gives us 1 million and 10% of 1 million is 100,000, that 100,000 will go to Mr. Bushuru's pocket? The answer is no. In the process of doing this, getting this check, there are a few things that involve marketing that will be done that require money. So whoever will be doing that will also be paid from this 10%. But whoever brought that particular customer will be the manager for that center. So it will be upon him to hire people to help him manage. And when you are hiring, we agreed you first hire from the directors or the members of a team. If you cannot find that skill from members of a team, you move to our student, the trainees. If you cannot get that skill among our trainees, then is when you hire somebody that is out. That is the priority. So the money that will manage that, marketing, when it comes to that particular client, we are going to do marketing even after we have got the client. It is 10%, and that 10% will be managed by the person who brought that particular client. And this is only applicable to the directors. So Mr. Dala, are you back? Mr. Dala, are you there?
Yes, I'm back.
Yeah, you asked your question. I don't know whether I answered it. I answered you fully, but in case I didn't answer you, please go back to the recordings. You'll be able to get the answer. But because you are here, can you just confirm if I was able to answer you? If not, please still answer, ask your question.
Yeah, I've been answered correctly. It's fine. It's fine. I'm okay now.
Yeah, and there's something that we have said when you are not there, is that when we are hiring staff, we start with the directors. If the directors do not have that skill, then we have other members of management team like Komala, like Ruto, and whatever. If the two do not have that skill, then we go to our trainees that are already in our system. If those trainees do not have any skill, that is when we go out. And the person responsible for that department will be the one to look for, will be the one to have that authority. So I was in number 2, voted number 2, where you bring in a client, like Mr. Bushuru bring in Cooperative University of Kenya. Every check that is gonna come from Cooperative University of Kenya to BNA, Mr. Bushuru is gonna get 10%. Anybody that helps him in anything to do with the marketing and what have you, his pay will come from that 10% with approval from Mr. Mr. Levi. He's also bringing in the county government of Trans Nzoia. We don't want a situation where somebody works very hard. He's a director, he's a marketer, he's a teacher, he's doing all these roles, and then when the money comes, because you are the director, you eat into his efforts. That's what I'm trying to avoid with this policy, so that everybody can be motivated. So that's marketing. I'm clear with that. Now, number 3 is administration. And administration here, put Director General, when actually the person who is supposed to be here is the Director HR. So I'll change that. That's under the docket of the Director HR. Now, everything that we collect, 10% will go to administration, and the person in charge of that voted is the Director HR. If you want to recruit members of staff, you have that 10%. If you want to recruit more students, that will be under your docket. You have that particular 10%. It is, and you are the one to give directions whom to work with. The money will be in the bank. They will be signatory that account. And I said, if we agree to move forward as 4 directors, Mr. Bushuru and myself will be excused from signing the checks because we have too much on our plate. We will concentrate on teaching and developing the curriculum. So signing of the checks will squarely lie with Mr. Chemitei and with HR, if you agree to continue. If you don't agree, then we'll address that in our next meeting. So that is that, and we'll have 10% of the fee collected in running day-to-day activities of that particular department. Chemitei, a check can be sent to you in Eldoret via courier services. You sign it. After signing it, you send it back to Mr. Dalo via courier services. That will only cost 500 shillings or less than 1,000. And then Mr. Dalo will go deposit it in a bank account or give the person whom you are paying. And those expenses will come from that 10%. Now, I've also brought in a legal expert, a legal advisor who helping us. If in the process of doing your duties, you meet a legal challenge or you are arrested, or something that needs legal advice, we'll be returning 5% of the money collected to pay for the legal services and I'll be the one in charge. The Director General is the one who is going to be in charge of that. Now, the directors, the four of us, we are having 40%, 5% of the fee collected. So what does this mean? This money will stay in the account. The signatories, all of us will be signatories to the account, the four of us. But the people with the authority to withdraw the money will be Mr. Chemte and Mr. HR. They are the people who are going to stay with the checkbook after we have agreed, after the budget has been brought to the meeting and approved. So this money will stay in the bank. The people with the authority to withdraw it, to sign the check will be the Director HR and the Director Consulting Services. Now, how do we get this 45%? This 45% at the end of the year, when we're having our annual general meeting, we'll share it equally. We'll share it in the proportion in which we agreed to register. So right now, Mr. Odalo is having 1%, Mr. Chemite is having 5%, and Mr. Levi Bushuru is having 5%, and I'm having the remaining 89%. Now, why am I having 89%? I'm spending a lot of money to establish this thing. So all my expenses will come from that 89%. Like right now, I hired an expert. You know how much he's earning. I also told you I stopped working 1 year ago to establish this organization. And so far, so well, it's 1 year since I started doing this. And I'm happy about the progress. All the expenses I've incurred, the salary that I was being paid in my job as a data scientist here in America will come from this 45%. I'll recover it from this 45% gradually until it is done. I also took a flight to Kenya to come and do research on how to start this organization. Mr. Odalo, you met me in the airport sometimes back in January last year. Yeah, that air ticket, all my expenses, where I was doing my research before I could come with this idea and who I could bring on board will come from that 89% of the 45%. Now look here, let's say the money we have raised, the 45% is 1 million. 1% of 1 million in 1 year is 10,000. So, Mr. Odalo, for your duties, that you are doing as a director, will be paying you an average, let's say, if we have 45% equivalent to 1 million, we'll be paying at the rate of 1,000 per month for 12 months. That's giving you 12,000. 12,000. So the duties will be doing as a director, not as an administrator, not as a marketer, and not as a teacher, as a director. And as a director, your work is just to attend the meetings. And as a director, your work is just to sign the checks and release the money to who is supposed to have it. So if we make 1 million, if 45% of what we made is 1 million, will be equivalent to 1,000 per month for 12 months. Now, let's go to Mr. Chemte and Mr. Bushuru. As a director, your work is just to attend the meetings and to approve the policies, approve the budget and etc., stuff like that. Or 5% of 1 million will be 50,000. Let's say we put it 60,000. So 60,000 per year, that will be 5,000. So it means for each and every meeting you come, when you are doing your oversight duty as a director, will be paying you 5,000 for the 2 hours you come for the meeting in a month. Because in once a month, it will be paying you 5,000 in your capacity as a director. That's what it means. For what I've done, looking for money, capital, my skill, and what have you, 1 million, or 89% of 1 million, that will be 890,000. Now, this 890,000, my salary in a year will be coming from that. the year that have gone, but I'm telling you, it will take some time for me to recover all the expenses because as a data scientist, what I'm paid here had shared with Bushuru, even that 1 million dividend cannot pay me. Mr. Bushuru, do you agree with that?
Extremely, extremely. I agree with that.
I agree with that. So it will take some time for me to recover my investment, but because I don't want you people to see as if you are disadvantaged and stuff like that. Now, the question is, if this thing grows too big to the extent that the expenses that we need for teaching, 30% of what we collect is like 10 times what we needed to pay our expenses. What do we do? What do we do in that case? The answer is this, and I want the directors to listen very carefully. Please listen very carefully and ask me questions because that's why I'm recording this and that's what leads to a fallout. Let's say the thing, you guys work very hard and the thing grows very big. And 30% of the money collected is 9 million. And for a period of 1 year, you needed only 4 million or 5 million to teach, to run the teaching department, to pay teachers, to pay lecturer, to pay professor. You only need 5 million, but you see, we have 9 million, that's 30%. We have 4 million floating. What do we do with the 4 million? Some of you will reason like this, because when we did not have students, we are getting very little. But now we have students, we should get more than what the market is offering. We will not go that route. We know, as the Director General with the highest shares, we will not go that route. But what are we going to do? We will pay you at the market rate based on your location, which is Nairobi, Kenya. And then anything extra, 4 million in this case, will invest. And what kind of investment do we anticipate? The kind of investment we anticipate will be those investments that are going to add value to our business. And our business is starting a school, starting a college, starting a university. A university requires land. A university requires university requires equipment like computers. A university requires so many things like a college. So those are the kind of investments that we'll make. And when we make that investment, when we take 4 million from the teachers and put on that particular investment, we take, let's say 2 million from marketing and put on that particular investment. We take 2 million from administrative services and put on that particular investment. We take 1 million from legal services and put on that particular investment. And then we take maybe 2% from the director's cut and put in that particular investment. And in the overall now, we have like 50 million that we are going to invest at the end of the year. And this 50 million is what we have saved by cutting down our expenses, is what we have raised by being aggressive and attracting more clients. How will the shareholding look like in that kind of investment? In fact, let me not, how will the shareholding look like? Now, we'll calculate the percentage proportion. If, let's say, from the teaching department, we did not exhaust the voted, and they're the only department who have raised something. And the teaching department and the director and the directors, let's say only those two voted. I don't see us saving anything on marketing. I don't see us saving anything on administration. I don't see us saving anything from legal service. And even if we save, then that one can be that can be just disbursed. That can be just disbursed to the people who are involved. Let me not touch marketing. Let me not touch admin. Let me not touch legal services. I'm only touching teaching and directors. And the people who we hire from outside, the people whom we hire from outside who are not members of the management, this case is not applicable to them, because what we pay them will be at the market rate, will be competitive, and they should get satisfied with that. They should not appear anywhere in shareholding about the investment. So the investment here will purely between teachers and the directors. And remind you, these teachers are also the directors. These teachers are also some members of the board, some management team that we intend to bring on board. So what will that mean? What that means, the 4 million will increase your shares in the investment. If we were to invest using the director's money only, your shares will be 1% for the director HR, 5% for the director consulting services, 5% for the director technical training, and 89% for the director general. So the director general will be the majority shareholder. And I don't want to remain with everything, and you people, you are remaining with very little. So how do I increase your shares there in the investment that we have? By saving on teaching. Saving on teaching. And when we save on teaching, that money will increase your shares in the whole thing. Mr. Odalo, you have done business studies. You will advise us on the formula on how to do this. How the money saved on teaching, when the directors are teaching, to increase their shares in the investment, where already you have 1%, the other two have got 5% each. And definitely that one will reduce my shareholding from 89% to something lower in that particular investment. That is what I see. That is what I propose. So that's a very sensitive issue. We are recording everything. These are our minutes. We'll put them on YouTube and put them private after you have viewed them. If something arises, we can go back to the minutes and review the minutes, the recordings, and move forward on that so that there's no conflict. So I want each and every person in this meeting to respond to that proposal or to respond to that idea. And with the time, Mr. Komala, with the time, Mr. Ruto, if you guys show some seriousness and you are able to volunteer your services, I've already identified you as people of interest, people who've got a specific skill that we need, and you agree that instead of paying you for the services you render, you become a shareholder so that you don't charge us as the market rate. We are going to incorporate you. So that is why I need you people to respond to this. Now, Mr. Levi Bushuru, as the director in charge of technical training, what do you think about this idea? And if there's an area you don't agree with, can you please propose a better way of doing it? And Mr. Chemte, I want you to take notes. Over to you, Mr. Levi Bushuru.
Okay. In terms of investment,
yes,
I think the only area which we will have close look at is teaching and training department. Why am I saying so? Because in marketing and in administrative issues, the amount, I don't think if any amount will remain there. In teaching, why am I saying it will remain there? For example, if you collect 9 million Kenyan shillings, and maybe each and every course has got its rate according to difficulty and technicality, because you can't charge the same hourly rate to a person who is teaching advanced Excel and you charge the same to a person who is teaching Python for data science or statistics with NumPy. So in this department, there will be a lot of floating cash. So that means most of the money that will go to investment, it will come from this department. Now, in that investment.
Mr. Lebushuru, before you go on, please excuse me. I just want to make this clear. What I envision is this, and I've already started implementing it. Before, when we hire somebody on hourly rate from outside, I don't want to pay them anything less than 3,000 per hour. That will be too dehumanizing. We are above that. We are above that. And I don't want to pay them that for assistant technical instructor. And for instructor, I don't want to pay them anything less than 5,000 per hour. That will be too dehumanizing. And the no-show mentality that teaching advanced Excel functions is easier than teaching Python and whatever, that is a fallacy. And with the time, I'll prove that. However, there are courses that are coming up that will be more technical than what we are already offering, especially in the degree programs that we are going to offer. Then in that case, we'll do the rate payment rating for those particular courses. But as at now, anybody teaching Python, programming in Python, anybody teaching Python for data science, anybody teaching statistics with NumPy, anybody teaching with advanced Excel functions, anybody teaching introduction to machine learning and artificial intelligence, the rate for those courses will be the same from the experience. But there are courses coming up like natural language processing, the computer vision, deep learning. Those are the real deal. Those are now the real deal. Or somebody teaching SQL. We can't pay them like somebody is teaching introduction to Python for data science, because SQL is a little bit lighter. So in that case, now we can pay like 3,000, not 5,000, etc. But advanced Excel function, for you to carry out the tasks in the real job market, my friends, sometimes you can sweat. I've seen people who resign from the job when the employer, the only tool they can offer is only advanced Excel function, and they are told to do modeling, statistical modeling, using advanced Excel function. And for you to do statistical modeling, you must have a background. You must be a graduate in a graduate. You have a degree in statistics. Even recently, I have a student who told me he wanted to withdraw because the project I gave him was too difficult for him. I told him, no. We're going to train you on how to do that. So, Mr. Bushuru, I just want you to know that Python for data science, advanced Excel function, statistics with NumPy, and programming in Python, if we are doing rating, they are at the same level. Tableau and Power BI are at a level higher than these four I've mentioned. SQL is at a lower level than these four, but there are courses coming under like natural language processing who are at computer vision, deep learning, who are at a higher level than these particular four. So right now, what we are talking about, and I want you just to know the 4 courses I've listed, 5 courses I've listed, in terms of difficulties, they are at the same level. Do not confuse learning how to type on Excel or how to do arithmetic using Excel with advanced Excel function. And my keen interest with the contractor who is on site already teaching this, that's why you people, you must ensure that those lessons are recorded. I'm going to review them if I'm not there. If he is up to the task, if he did actually deliver the content, that's why I wanted him to sign the contract, and he doesn't want to sign the contract. Up to now, he has not signed the contract. We'll come to that. So, Mr. Bushuru, am I clear on that?
You are clear?
Yeah, so there are courses coming up if you are able to stretch yourself, if you are able to push yourself and take those boot camps and be able to teach them like deep learning, like computer vision, like natural language processing, then the rate will be higher than what I'm talking about. Okay, move on. Go ahead, please.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for that clarification. Yeah, as you have said, advanced Excel might be the same to maybe Python programming, but also the technicality. Because, for example, when you are doing modeling using Excel, there are some complicated part of modeling which Excel can't be able to handle, because Excel is just good in linear regression.
Yes.
But now, for example, where a tutor comes in, is handling a topic such as cross-validation or a sampling technique. Those are highly technical, so it won't be paid the same way. We'll just look at it. And
Yeah,
we'll
we
go
look at
about
it, but another question, there's somebody want to leave, and I wanted to discuss the part that involves him before he leaves. Ruto, stay on until we discuss your part before you leave. Now, the thing is here, do you know that you can offer Python for data science and you only attract 10 students, and that will be 900,000, the total raise. And do you know you can offer advanced Excel function? You are charging 20,000, and you attract 1,000 students in one class, and that will be 20 million. Are you seeing the possibility?
Yes, I'm seeing.
So in terms of revenue, which course is giving us more money? Is it the one that is hard, or is it the one that you are saying that is easy?
Yeah, it is the one that I think it is easy, because there are more
but
people.
but us now as businessmen, where are we making our money? Now, if we are making our money in a course that is easy, using a tool that is easily accessible by many companies and is easier for them to use it, they don't need to go to extra training. Do you think it is fair to pay the person who is giving us less revenue, more money than the person who is giving us more revenue? Or can we say we need to review this so that when we are paying, we have a component which is rate as per level of difficulty, and another component which should be the rate based on the amount of revenues raised by that particular course? Because I just want to be fair. Okay, over to you.
Yeah, the first one,
I want you to
level
wind up in the next 1 minute so that we stop there on this agenda and address
okay,
the issue for Ruto.
the parameter which will be used here, I think it is the level of difficulty. That is the first parameter. And the second parameter which should be used, it is the number of trainees which the program
the revenue,
has
not the number of trainees, revenue collected.
Yeah, revenue collected.
Okay, fine. So please allow me to stop there so that I address Ruto's issue. I'll come back to this before, and we can even continue next month. Ruto, are you still there? Daniel, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still there.
Yeah, we are bringing you in because we have identified you as one of the people that are offering services that we really need. Our video, images, everything, what we sent out, that's what will bring us the students. Like the student we have right now, I recruited those students just within 2 hours. And this is something that Mr. Dawi should learn. Just 2 hours through WhatsApp groups, and I had around 25 students. So because of the video you do. Now, my other director don't own this thing alone. I have Director Chemite, I have Director David Shuru, and I have Director Odalo for the HR. They have raised complaints about your services. One of the things that they have raised is this, Chemite, take note of this so that we review, that you take too long to deliver. An example is this. The video that was done in the Rivera Mall, I had to put a lot of pressure, too much pressure for you to release that video. Mr. Olonde, who was in that video, would have wished to watch that video before he died. Mr. Olonde died like 2-3 months ago. He did not see that video. And we don't want engaged people who are struggling to deliver. That was a complaint raised by one of the directors, and I cannot wish it under the carpet. Mr. Chemte, please take note of that. We'll review. Now, another complaint raised by the director is this. I negotiate the cost of the services with you directly. Has somebody left the meeting? No. And they're accusing me of favoring you, paying you more than what the market rate is offering. And my response to them is that I do not live in Kenya. I don't know what the market rates, and therefore they need to advise me. So they are, one of them was even asking me to ask you to refund some money. And I told them I can't refund. Maybe we can review moving forward, but refunding may not be possible. That is one of them. Because they're saying you are charging me as per the American rates, but our businesses in Kenya is not in America. You need you to respond to this. Now, number three, that they're accusing you of, they are saying that your services are not qualitative. You charge a lot, and the quality of the product that you are giving us is not up to our level. So there need to be some improvement. That's what they are saying. That's another complaint that are coming from this. That they are here, they are listening, whoever have been complaining, and I'm presenting this case when they are here. So I want you to respond. Maybe they don't know the kind of job or sometimes how we work. And I wanted to tell you, directors, for you to know what I go through when I'm working with Ruto. I just want to assign you the responsibility of working with Ruto to edit this video. And Ruto, I request you when editing this video, don't charge us anything, let it be free, so that the directors can know what we go through when we are making this video. And at the end of it, we look at the product and see whether it meets our minimum requirement in terms of quality. And it will be rotational. This video, I want it to be edited when you will be working with Levi Bushuru. And Daniel, I need this video. Today is Friday. Hello? Daniel, are you there?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, what time is it in Kenya?
It's now 9:01.
Yes, I need this video tomorrow by the time we are going to class. That's the deadline I'm giving Ruto, and that's how we have been working. So the class starts at 5. So I need this video by 3 p.m. tomorrow. And Ruto has been doing it that way. The director who is going to work with you immediately after this meeting will be the director, Levi Bushuru, because I want Levi Bushuru to understand what you go through. And for Levi Bushuru to work with you, I want him to confirm if he is ready to miss his sleep tonight and still be productive tomorrow, both at Blue Nile Analytica and at your side hustle. So, Mr. Levi Bushuru, can you confirm, please? If you are not able to miss your sleep.
Pardon.
Hello?
Oh, okay, I'm getting you.
Yes. Are you able to miss your sleep tonight and you'll be productive on your side hustle tomorrow and also attend the Blue Nile Analytica class that's starting at 5 tomorrow?
In fact, there was a meeting which I had to start at 8:30. I have postponed it to 10, which will take place up to 1 Kenyan time.
So you are not available. Thank you. So you are not available. Yes. Okay. Yes. So let's move to the next director. The next director is Mr. Ruben Chemite. Are you ready to miss your sleep for tonight to work on this video with Mr. Daniel Ruto? And be ready by 3 p.m. tomorrow before class. And we don't want to affect your side hustles. And also be productive. Be productive in the Blue Nile Analytica class that's at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Huh? Are you ready to miss your sleep?
Let me say I'll not be available for tomorrow.
Okay, thank you. We understand you. We don't want to interfere with your side hustles. Okay. The other person in this meeting is Mr. Geoffrey Odalo. Mr. Geoffrey Odalo, are you ready? Can you hear me, Mr. Geoffrey Odalo? Confirm
Yes,
if you
I
can hear me. Are you ready to miss your sleep tonight to work with Mr. Ruto so that this video is ready by 3 p.m. tomorrow? We don't want to interfere with your side hustle tomorrow. And at the same time, we don't want to affect your participation in the class tomorrow that starts from 5 to 7, because you promised to be there. The duty you're supposed to conduct there. Please just confirm your availability. Are you available?
Not really.
Okay, thank you very much. You are not available. And now we move to Komala. You are here and you are part of us. So, Mr. Komala, are you ready to work with Daniel Ruto to edit this video? We don't want to affect your side hustle tomorrow. And at the same time, we don't want you to miss the class that we have from 5 to 7 tomorrow, because as at now, we still take you as our assistant technical instructor. We're going to introduce you to the new students. Are you available? Komala, are you there? Komala, are you available?
No, I'm not available.
Okay, all the directors and the Mabel management team are not available. So, Mr. Bushuru, I want to make it clear to the directors that part of the charges that Ruto gives us is because of the strict deadlines we give with these videos, because our policy is that the video should be uploaded on YouTube 2 hours after the class has ended. Those are raw videos. Raw videos. Then edited video, when we have a meeting like this and we have a class, we need to market and carry out sensitization, stuff like that. So there have been strict deadlines for that. Now, Mr. Ruto, hello? Mr. Ruto, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
I'm the only director who's available to work with you tonight, but let me know, how is your schedule today? Are you ready to work on this video?
Yes, I can work on it.
How much will you charge us? It's a 2 hours video. The video is gonna go for 2 hours. I'll just have 10 minutes to make it 2 hours. Because started at 11:15. The meeting will be ending in the next 10 minutes, please. So any agenda that is not discussed will be pushed to the next meeting. So how much will you charge us? I want them to hear and then they negotiate directly.
Okay, because I was also part of this meeting, and the previous video, the last video we did, I charged you 10,000.
Yes.
And I have been in this meeting, and so I'll charge you half of that for
5,
this one.
5,000.
Yes.
Yeah, because you
Yes.
were in the meeting and you understand what is there happening.
Yes.
But if you are not in the meeting, as has been the case before, how much would you charge?
As per the last rate that I think I've been charging you 10.
Or 10?
So
okay,
yeah.
That's fine. Now, why have you decided to charge the video by half? Because it's gonna be, the work is gonna be easier. You are not gonna move back and forth, getting some clarification, right?
And I've also been in the meeting, so I know exactly what has
now,
been. Yes.
Mr. Levi, the director in charge of technical training, would wish to have you in the meeting always when there is a video, which means we need you to in our classes. You attend our classes for those 2 hours. Now, for that, we have a cheaper rate. Now, how will we be compensating you for attending our meetings and attending our classes so that it's easier for you to edit our videos, and also it's cheaper for us when you are charging us for the videos? The 2 hours, all our meetings take 2 hours, all our classes take 2 hours, but we want you to be there so that it is easier for you, so that I don't miss my sleep as a director general. So how will we be compensating for those 2 hours? Because you are not here as a student, you are not here as a director, you are here, you are working, yes. How will you charge us for the 2 hours for attending?
I don't want to promise that I might be available for all the meetings,
Yes,
because sometimes my Saturday is packed.
yes.
So I don't want to commit that I will always be attending every meeting.
Okay, thank you. Well, but what about
Yeah.
management meetings? Because we wanted the message on management meeting to come out clearly. It is on a Friday, it's only once a month, it starts from 7 to 9 p.m.
No, for that I will be available.
So you will always be available in our management meetings. Now,
Yes.
how would you like to be paid for attending our management meeting for 2 hours? You are not one of the directors, you are not one of the managers.
I think 2,000 is okay.
2,000, and that
Yeah.
will now reduce from 10,000 to 7,000 per video. Now over to you directors. Ruto won 7,000. Before it has been 10,000. What do you think? Do you think that is fair? Do we move with that rate? Or what do you think? Because I'm not the only director here. We need to take in your input.
Okay, I can start.
Yes.
Yeah, from what Ruto has been charging you, I've done my market survey as a data scientist here in Kenya.
Yes.
And I went to a certain studio in Ruaraka. Yeah, a certain studio in Ruaraka.
Mm-hmm.
I saw in editing audios only.
Mm-hmm.
They are doing it for 5K.
Mm-hmm.
And video recording and editing,
Mm-hmm.
they do it at 20K.
20K.
Yes. So I think from what Ruto has been doing, it has been so much fair on your side. And also, I did another research, and they were charging in ranges. These are just individual. They are we can call them freelancer video editors here in Nairobi.
Mm-hmm.
The first one I got, and I doubted. I might have said that I doubted the quality. He told me that they charge $25. So let me change it to Kenyan shillings so that I can be specific.
$25 is like 30,000.
$25. They charge that is 3,127 per hour.
$25. Oh,
Yeah,
that's per
3,000.
hour, $25 per hour. Yeah, but you have made your point because the meeting has to end.
I want to give you all the range because it will just take less than 30 seconds.
Okay, please go on.
The other one I got,
we have 4 minutes to end the meeting.
The other one I got, he charges 5,629 per hour, and Ruto has been charging you 10,000. So this makes the Ruto's rates to be cheaper. The other one I got, he charges around 55. So I think the Ruto's rate is good.
So the director who has been complaining that I'm paying Ruto too much, I think you are now convinced that Ruto's rates have been very fair, and the lack of your availability to guide him on what to do also explains for that. Now, directors, can you type on the charts? If you agree with this, you type yes. If you don't agree with this, you type no. Based on the market survey from Mr. Bushuru and what we have explained to you, what Ruto has been doing and his charges, is it okay to retain Mr. Ruto's services moving forward? Thank you. I've seen 1 yes from RC. Thank you. The rest of the director, please type. LB, thank you. That's David Bushuru. GO, that's Mr. Geoffrey Odalo. Yes, thank you very much. Komala, what do you think? Or Komala has already left, but it's okay. That's the majority. So Ruto will retain you.
Director General.
Yes.
I hope the fair rates from Mr. Ruto.
Yes.
has not been informing the quality, because at the same time we are questioning the quality and the time of delivery.
Okay, so no, we are moving there. So that is fine. That is fine. Mr. Ruto, can you please tell us, does your fair rate be justified by the poor quality of your services and lack of the deadlines?
Okay, first of all, thank you very much. I would answer your question by first saying that I think I've never had a feedback session since we started working with you. So, and I'm happy that today we have had a feedback session. And now I love positive or negative criticism, because it makes me take a different approach. So I don't think the fair rate affects my quality. Now that I have had your points of concern, I'm going to. I also wanted maybe to know, like, in terms of the quality that you're talking about, what are some of the improvements that you would want to see? And
Okay, thank you very
yes,
much. Let me
yes.
respond to that. When you are editing this video, the part where we are grilling you, that would be a video is wrong, because we're gonna share it with our contractors. Like Mr. Bushuru,
Okay.
one person that will share this video where we are grilling Ruto is our instructor for advanced exit function. I just sent this video to him and tell him that is after the services, that is how we are going to judge you. Mr. Bushuru, did you get me?
Yes, I'm getting you.
Yeah, so Ruto, make sure that the part we are grilling you is a video on its own. On a video is wrong, because we're going to use this as an example to talk to our contractors to improve the services. Now, Ruto,
Okay.
these are the feedback from our customers. The passport size photographs that you did were all very poor quality, to the extent that one of the directors did not even want them to be hosted on the website.
Okay.
So are you open to repeating that work? We may not get the same people, but we can get a different group, so that you redo the passport size photographs for whoever will attend, but you don't charge us anything.
Sure, I'm available to do that.
And before you do
But-
that,
but-
we want you to study the requirements for a passport size photographs. It must meet the, let's put it, USA Embassy visa requirements in terms of size, in terms of quality, in terms of facing the camera, in terms of color, etc. They should be good enough to allow our participants. Yes, Mr. Levi Bushuru, you can leave. Mr. Komala, you also asked, you can leave. You can leave, you're free to leave. We'll be ending the meeting in the next 2 minutes. So we want you to do research, so that every passport size photograph you do meet the requirements for application of a visa for the US Embassy.
Okay, thank you. I think that requirement wasn't made clear to me, because I thought you were just doing portraits. And also, such kind of passport photos, they involve things like clear backgrounds, studio lights. So with the whatever I had, and also the budget, because we were doing both video and photos, I think that requirement was not really clearly made to me, because I could have availed things like backdrops and all that. Because
so,
it,
so you need,
yes.
moving forward in our next activity, you need to revise the budget and present it to us. And you need to
Yes.
all the gadgets that will allow you address the issue of quality. I think that is fine, right?
Okay.
Yes. And when you revise the budget, we have agreed that we're going to do it for free, but the extra on the budget, that one we can pay, right?
Oh, okay, sawa.
Yeah, okay. I think that's a fair deal. On the video, you have to label all the characters. And
For
those
today.
passport size photographs, you have to retain them I don't want you to go to the social media handles for the characters in the video and they get their images from there. I want you to keep those passport size photographs so that when we do a video with those characters, the first thing you check, do I have a passport size photograph for this particular character? Yes, you use it. If no, then is when you go to the social media handle.
Okay.
So the character must be well labeled, especially in this meeting. We want you to label all the characters, and I ask all of them to put on their videos so that you can have pure quality of their images.
Okay, that is well noted.
Yeah, well noted. So you're going to
Yes.
see this video in 2 parts. One where we are grilling you to use as an example for our contractors, and one where we are having serious issues. In fact, if it is welfare, I want to be on a video in its own. If it is issue to deal with sharing of revenues, that one then to be a video in its own. If it is grilling a contractor, I want it to be a video in its own, so that we have 3 different videos, right?
Okay.
Yeah, and we leave out sensitive information because we have talked about our clients, that we are very disappointed when they turn their back, when one was grieved. We remove that part. I don't want them to know that part.
All right.
Yeah, just give them this, the welfare policy moving forward in that short video. So from this video, you're gonna have 3 different videos. One for the welfare, one for the revenue sharing, and another one for contractors, the kind of service I expect from them. Then overall, you'll have this video edited, you remove the noise and whatever, and that will act as like minutes at the minute for a meeting. That will not be shared with anybody in the public domain. But for each and every video, you must have the documentary. Is it clear?
Yeah, so you are saying we will have 3 videos: welfare, revenue, and then the contractor.
Yeah, and then the 4th one, the whole video put together.
Okay.
And in the whole video, you retain everything because that will be our minutes, but you remove noise and interferences.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, remove noise and interference. So there will be 4 videos. And for each and every video, you have a documentary before it. Hello?
Yes, I have understood.
Now, will your rate still remain 5,000 or 7,000?
Yes, as agreed.
Okay, the one we need most by tomorrow, we want the one where we are grilling you. We want the one for the welfare. Well, the one where we are grilling you and the one for the welfare. The one for the revenue sharing and the whole one, that one can wait. So these 2, that one can be delivered later in the course of the week. But the one where we are grilling you as a contractor and the one where we are discussing welfare issue, those 2, we need them by 3 p.m. Before 3 p.m. tomorrow.
All right.
Okay, thank you very much. And then you can plan with your time. Now, AOB. And now, Mr. Ruto, you are free to leave.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. For Chemite.
And I will stop the recording.
Okay.
Okay.